Welcome to the presentation of yet another judge of Legal Challenge 4. Today with me here in the studio is Katya Nemova from Wargaming. Katya, where are you based?
I'm in Vilnius.
And hello.
And hello. Hello, guys. Hello, everyone.
And how long have you been in Vilnius?
I live in Vilnius for the past 7 years.
Okay.
I really like the city, especially in summer. Yeah, but in winter it's also good.
And if you guys follow the news in the games industry, then you will know that Wargaming just opened a studio here in Vilnius for, what is it, for mobile games? Was it MS1 or?
No, it's gonna be for all our games. Right now, I'm in MS1, that is developing our Blitz game and 2 unannounced projects. They've been so far the most proactive ones, and they moved a lot of people already now. That is why they already announced that they are hiring in the studio, but it doesn't mean that only this studio will be in Vilnius.
Oh, I've seen I don't know, all kinds of nationalities in this new Wargaming studio here in Vilnius. So finally, after it only took us like 5 years of the summits to convince the another company, but also this year we had at least 5 other quite big studios moving into Vilnius or opening offices in Vilnius.
Yeah, but partly because Wargaming wanted to open an office in Vilnius, considered opening an office some years ago. We moved to Vilnius. So now Wargaming is here. I'm happy. We're trying to...
You've done the due diligence.
Yes, and I highly recommend everyone to bring their companies to Vilnius.
Well, I think we'll have over 1,000 of games industry professionals by the end of this year alone. Now, how long are you in the games industry?
14 years.
And prior to
it's
that,
a lot.
Yeah. Prior to that, what did you do? What was your experience?
I was working in a law firm. I was doing litigations.
Okay, so you've seen the courtroom.
Many times. Yes, commercial courtroom.
Some real dramas or?
Commercial dramas, yes. Sometimes they were quite harsh on one of the sides. Yeah.
Okay, and then you joined the industry, and you worked on the publisher side. You work on the developer side.
I worked on publisher side. I worked on developer sides, and then I joined Wargaming. So out of 14 years in games industry, almost 8 years. 8 years I'm with Wargaming.
I know that at some point in your career you worked with quite a lot of studio clients.
Right.
And the question is, did you see any connection between the size of the studio and how easy it was to work with them? Is it, for example, the smaller studios take the longest to explain, the biggest studios already understand, or not?
No. The difference is whether you work with a lawyer or with a non-lawyer. It's studio size doesn't matter. So it's easier, of course, to speak with a lawyer. You do not need to explain basic stuff, but when you work with non-lawyer, then you have to explain everything from scratch.
It's a little bit
concepts.
Similar to what in our team Mindaugas is doing when he works with the sponsors of the summit. If you're talking to a designer at a law firm, then you speak the same language.
Exactly,
it's like, hey, send me EPS. EPS is not high enough. Send me this and that. And if you work with someone who does not get the design, then you're like, look at this. It doesn't fit. It has to go this way. Okay. What about your education? Did you complete the studies a long time ago? Did you upgrade it in the process? Would you?
No, I studied in Russia. I graduated from a law school in Russia, but then I studied in Stockholm University and did my master's there in European intellectual property law.
So you have the practical experience of applying for LLM and graduating with LLM.
Yes.
For the students who are considering. Let's say that we're talking about students from Poland, students from Serbia who are in the competition, or let's say students from Ukraine. What does it really mean, this getting an LLM? What does it give to you? What do you say the biggest advantage?
It gives you another perspective, especially when you're working in-house. You tend to forget that you are a lawyer. You tend to mostly take a business position or consider this a lot, but you still need to understand law. You still need to understand things from a legal perspective and see the risks from that angle as well. So it helps, and continuous education is everything. It's important to study somewhere at some point regularly. Read books.
Do you agree with this? The concept of establishing a network as you go to LLM. So, for example, I went to Harvard, and Mark Meyer went to Harvard, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, help me out." So you went to.
Yeah. Yes, it adds a lot, and especially if you manage to get into the class where everybody else is your age, then you have you establish this connection. But when you get to the class where everyone is 10 years younger, it's difficult because.
But I think you still.
But I still managed, yes, to establish connections, and we work with people with whom I studied, because they have their own law firms or they work in some other tech companies. And it's really useful to exchange information.
So it's like basically LLM is like one big summit that goes on for the whole year or two. And then you get the...
It's true.
Yeah.
It's just the topic is the same.
Yeah. A question for you to debate on. We come across in the industry, quite large as well as quite successful studios that do not have in-house lawyers. And then we come across smaller teams that would have multiple lawyers. And that's always a big question. So without naming any names, let's say we travel somewhere in the north of Europe and there is a studio with 300 people and 3 lawyers. So not 1, not 2, but 3. And theoretically, they're rich as hell, so it's not that they're saving money. Oh, no, we're not going to pay to law firms. No. Then you go a bit south, and you meet a studio that has billion-dollar revenues. And they not only have any in-house lawyer, no lawyer in-house, but when you ask them if they have any lawyers that they work with, they're like, there was a guy at Gamescom who came to us once. He was nice. We never worked with them. So you have like this 1% of the company is in-house lawyers and 0% in-house, 0% expenditure outside, because probably they work with through the platforms. So what's your take on this? What is the difference, first of all, between having in-house and not having, and when it becomes a need that your studio has to have someone in-house?
Okay, Sergey, you just provided your examples showing that you can survive without lawyer, right? So the size of the studio doesn't matter. What matters is what is your business, what is your exposure, and how you, whether or not you work through the platforms, right? Through other solutions that can replace lawyers, basically. They take this part of job on them. Right? If you are a studio of a single product, maybe it doesn't matter how many people you have, but maybe you do not need a lawyer and work through the platform, right? So once you become a studio that works with multiple teams that develop multiple products, the question about IP, clearance, and so on becomes really important. And here you just decide it's probably about money mostly with whom to work. Either you take in-house counsel or you work with outside counsel, but it really depends on.
I'll give you another example. There is a widely successful studio that's in the business for 25 years. If you look at Steam top charts, then the most wishlisted titles are among there from that studio. And that studio works with an external law firm. It's not a question of money. It's just a question of they don't see the need to have someone in-house.
Yeah, that's right.
When do you think it changes? What may push the studio to say it's not enough to have the best external lawyer? We need to have someone right here in-house.
When you go on IPO, for example.
Okay, then you know, like capital markets and so on. Sure, but at Wargaming, for example, imagine that tomorrow the CEO has a dream: fire all lawyers, and he comes up and he says, "Guys, set up your own law firm. Just work separately. No in-house lawyers at Wargaming." What would become impossible?
No, speaking about Wargaming survived without lawyers, just working with outside counsels until Wargaming became a company of 1,300 employees. So it's pretty big adventure without lawyers, I would say. They succeeded. I mean, but right now, given the amount of work that we have every day and number of lawyers, I do not see how Victor can come up with decision that guys go and establish. So when you grow your business, when there is an exposure, because we are not working through the platforms, right? We have to do everything in-house. All relationships with payment providers, with customers, with this and that in all jurisdictions. So we have to establish everything what platforms do in-house. So I'm not sure. And we have multiple products, a lot of products and multiple studios. And those studios are very unique and independent, sort of. And we need to establish relationship with them and make sure that all IP that they create is rightly fixed and transferred and so on and so on.
So you're basically embedded with the product groups.
We are, I think.
So it's the difference between, let's say, I'm a war correspondent covering Afghanistan, and I stay at the green zone in Baghdad, and I just talk to the soldiers as they come in, but that's it. Or I join the unit and go out on the patrol mission, and then I can see with my own eyes what is happening. So you as lawyers are a part of the product group. You see the features being discussed rather than dealing with the result of the decisions that they were taken without your expertise.
Yes, it's a right explanation. All lawyers in our global team, they have two kind of substances in them. One is that they focus on some narrow field of law. For example, if you work with IP or trademarks, you do that and do this really well. And this is your focus on day-to-day job. And also you are attached to the product and you see all sort of questions that product have, like a vertical slice. So it also helped to develop you as a lawyer and understand the business. So on one hand, you see all spectrum of questions. On the other hand, you focus and develop your skills as a lawyer in this particular field.
So basically, this is why quite a lot of games industry lawyers migrate to business/legal or legal/business.
Yeah, because once you start working closely with the product and be dedicated lawyer to them, you are exposed to all business decisions and business thinking, what is important for them, what is not. Really, because interest of the products are completely different from interest of legal team and finance team, for example. And legal is in the middle of all this, and we're trying to balance the interest and find a solution that will fit everyone, or convince some group of people that this decision is optimal in this particular case. So, and when they see that you are being reasonable, they listen to you, no problem.
So this is where your street credibility comes in, where you join the product group and they say, well, what games did you play? And you're like, wow, probably.
No, it's better that you say that I play this and this games and I like those ones. And when they come to you with a question, why you're advising to do that because this company didn't do that, you are able to answer, yes, I know that they do that, but they, for example, an American company, we're a European company, and that is why different rules apply. So, but if you demonstrate that, yes, you did your research, you know what's happening in games industry in general, what big companies do, what small companies do, what companies with a profile more or less suitable to ours, because our advantage is that we do not target kids, and kids are not our core audience, right? I do not envy those companies who target kids these days.
There are companies that exclusively target kids, and they make successful IPOs, and everything is Okay, so just to if you're a law student looking to join the games industry in-house, my experience is that eventually you go to a nice dinner and there are people from marketing and business and all the C-suite people and so on, and the conversation specifically at Wargaming revolves around video games and history. So what I noticed is that you have this random collection of people coming from, I don't know, Italy and Czech Republic and Lithuania and Belarus. It doesn't matter. But eventually someone will say, hey, have you guys played this? And everyone will have an opinion because everyone plays everything that's coming out. Like, no, it's not working because of that, but I like this and I like that. So everyone, you're expected to be a part of this. You cannot say, oh, Switch? Is this like this box with buttons?
No, you are expected, definitely. You're expected to know everything that happens. And even if you do not have time to play yourself in all games that coming out, you need to know what's going on. We have a great advantage in our legal team. We have a guy who is a gamer himself, and he regularly updates us of what's going on in the game. And if we have specific question about new mechanics, new games, we always go to him to just make sure that we understand what's going on and what is the hot topic.
You need this background information. So, for example, there was a class action suit against this game.
Oh yes, this.
Why? Well, as a player, let me tell you the experience. It's because I paid €60 and then okay.
And this is very important. I mean, this is important for any industry, I guess, to know the business and what's going on and how it applies to your company.
The second thing about specific, I guess, to wargaming is that everyone is just very much into the history. So you can go from discussing the latest game to the African campaign of Italians at the beginning of, 1941, and how many soldiers they had and what was the problem with the tanks. They couldn't go uphill or whatever. I would imagine there are companies that are about horses. Like there's a game called Star Stables, and maybe people.
I don't know what kind of discussions they have. Yes, but you are right. We are about history, and we have a lot of people passionate about history, and all the conversations are about history.
It brings me back to what Jazz told in one of the recent interviews, where he said that it's mostly about being passionate. So. Because this industry has so many things you have to know, you have to have the passion to learn them. Otherwise, it's going to be a very hard trip for you. So if you
have to have I think it's in general, it's better when you have a passion towards something or you're a passionate person. It doesn't matter what you do. It's just there is this passion to do this the best way you can.
Maybe.
And develop this skill.
Maybe we should look closer at the law students coming out of Italy.
And by the way, we are hiring.
If you have the passion for cooking, for something, just consider wargaming. Also, a question for you: you hired one of the finalists of the Legal Challenge some years ago.
Yes.
How did that go? Was she...
great!
Yeah?
It's a great acquisition for our legal team, and we understand that someday she might go to join another company, but we enjoy right now the time that she's with us. Yes.
And was it how did the transition happen? Was it as she expected, or she joins wargaming, like coming from the Legal Challenge, and then the first day you're like, "Oh wait, sit down, go there. Like
you better speak with her, I think, but I do not. Yes, but I do not think we are very kind people, and we have great atmosphere in legal team and wargaming. I love it a lot, and I hope people share this. But I see they probably share.
So basically, the skills she demonstrated winning Legal Challenge were practical, and they match what you discovered working with her in the capacity of a lawyer.
Yes, the depth of the research and writing, drafting skills are amazing. And this is what she demonstrates on a daily basis. And this is why we love her a lot.
A message to all the other game studios. Guys, this is a living proof that what you see in the challenge is a preview of what you're gonna get once that person joins the team. Great. One last topic to cover for today's interview. I know you had a digital arbitration hearing, which was transatlantic. Roman mentioned that you guys had your share of the new technologies and everything. What are the specifics of doing it online? Not seeing people, not like getting dressed for the war. Well, I mean, I assume you still got dressed, but I don't know.
Several times, because yes, I was witnessing there as well. So I think it reduces a little bit of stress of those who present the case. Yes, you do not see people, but still the online and Zoom technology provides quite a good opportunity to see the emotions and to talk to people. But you do not need to travel. This is very convenient, especially when you have lawyers. I mean, we had people from 4 different time zones, or maybe 5 even, and they are quite spread apart. So when at our place it was 6 to 10. The hearing, right? The difficulty is that you have hearing day shorter than it normally would be, because we tried to find time that would suit
everyone.
Everyone. So people in Los Angeles woke up at 7 for the hearing, and we stayed late until 10 here. The most.
It sounds like it's hard to say who was at the disadvantage. Do you think someone was at disadvantage?
I think the most disadvantage was in our zone, because we had to stay up to 10 in the evening, and if you have kids, it's a challenge, right? And if the hearing is quite lengthy, we had 26 days of hearing. It was quite a bit of stress and quite a bit of planning.
So 26 days of hearing in the normal life, if it would be happening real time, it would be what, couple of weeks? 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I think.
Okay. Okay, and everyone will be more stressed because of, well, I mean, some people will be jet lagged, some people will like.
No, instead of spending 4 hours, you will be spending 8 hours. Yes, and you will have to travel, and then you will be exposed to all the people here listening to you in the courtroom.
So it's a lot of.
I think it's advantage. Yes, and right now for legal challenge, for example, I think the guys will be in more advantageous position because they have reduced stress of being present somewhere.
Let me ask you $1 million question.
Okay.
Suppose we all get vaccinated and everything is under control by the end of this year, and Legal Challenge 5 rolls around for next year. We have the opportunity that everyone will travel to Vilnius and traditionally have the real live hearing. Or we can do the same digital format as we are doing this year, even though we can't do the real life. Just because we think, for example, that it's easier on the competitors. It's easier also to broadcast. It gives them a chance that other lawyers will see them first and then meet them at the summit. And then they will say, oh, I saw you at the semifinal. You were great. Come work with me or something. Would you say for next year, if we can't have the real life, we still should have digital version of it, or just go back to real life and that's it?
I would still say that we go to real life, but maybe we can consider some combination. For example, semifinals go online and the finals go in summit yes.
That'll be probably
like
that'll be probably great, because semifinals will give everyone a chance to present themselves, and then for the finals we can put them on the white horse and go into this palace of grand news.
They already know that they won. It's second or first place. We will probably already know who is the best oralist, so it will allow a little bit more better planning, whom to invite.
And then we can have them do it in front of the whole audience of like 300 games industry lawyers. And everyone will like say boo or yay.
Yes. Why not?
Okay, great.
You see, we're already
Develop
planning
something. Yes. One final question. Your advice to the teams. The teams are going to watch you probably tonight, maybe tomorrow. So they still have a few days until the actual hearings kick in. One piece of advice that can help them.
I don't know. Be creative. Because they're part of this creative industry. Lawyers also have to be creative and try thinking out of the box and present your idea in some maybe unexpected way. I don't know. That's always
show like napkins or say, hey guys, for this case I made a little card game, so let me show you like this guy and this guy and
yeah, be creative. You see, Sergey is a creative guy. He has lots of ideas.
I have to say that the presentation skills are undervalued in the industry, in the legal industry as well. Like being able to show a complicated matter in a simple way, in a nice way.
Right. Be less formal, relax, and try to take a look at the problem from completely different angles. Try to do that. This helps a lot.
And then the recording will be available for your children and grandchildren to watch in the somewhere in the future. So make them proud. Okay, thank you very much, Katya. We will see you. You're part of the finals panel, I believe. So you'll have 5 judges coming to a decision, coming from different countries.
Looking forward to it, really.
And I don't know if you'll let judges watch semifinals. I forgot about the ruling. Do we or do we not? But if we do allow, then you can take a look. I think we don't. I think we want you to have a fresh.
Yes, guys. And by the way, we are hiring a now privacy team. I'm serious about that. So who wants?
Who wins?
Please,
you don't say who wins.
Yes. Who wins gets. It's not an offer. But
the email you can connect to Katya. Like with every judge in the description of the YouTube video, we've got the link where you can reconnect with
send
the
your
judge.
CVs through LinkedIn. Okay.
Don't forget to mention the summit. Okay, thank you, Katya. We'll see you at the finals in I guess in exactly a week from now. Yes. And before we go, I have to say thank you to all the wonderful law firms and games companies that help us run the summit and the legal challenge every year. Without your support, this wouldn't be as phenomenal as it is right now. Thank you.